Hi, LindaBauwin here from StampingWithLinda.com, your cardiologist since 1997, helping you create cards from the heart. Have to admit, I ordered this Brusho clear back in December, I think, and I really didn't have time or took the time to play with it. I kept seeing reports about it and people saying they didn't like it or whatever, and so it just kind of turned me off. But at my recent retreat, I decided I needed to give it a shot, and I am finding that I really like it. It gives great backgrounds. So the first thing about the Brusho is you do not want to open the containers. It's very fine powder, and so I got a push pin and I just poked one hole in my container. I know some people have done a couple holes. It does not take very much. The thing is, it is activated with water, and I like using the watercolor paper. I always cut a piece bigger than what I'm going to use, and you really need to just do several backgrounds, let them dry, and then finish them with your cards. I find that using the Brusho makes for wonderful accents to your cards. So again, just play while you're getting messy, and just do it all at once. I am just using the thick cardboard that you get in your designer series paper. You can lay down parchment paper if you want, but I find this to work well. You will find, because we're adding water, even though this is watercolor, you may have some curling, so you could mask all four sides if you want. So I have our spritzer bottles. This is filled with water, and I am just going to spritz, and I am going to spritz heavily with water just at the bottom part of that card. I'm going to bring in my mossy green Brusho, and I am, whoa, that lid just fell off. You will see that you are going to get some different colors. Now I see that there's some running going on, and that's okay. Now I can go ahead and spritz some more if the powders are not melting. Or I can go in with my aqua painter and move them around this way. So it's kind of an interesting palette. One thing you will find that every time you do this, you're going to get a different look. So I've got that. I'm going to set that aside, making sure that I glue that lid back on and put that clip push pin back in. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that spritzer and I'm just going to go to the top. Now you want to watch that you don't get sprinkles all over and, you know, mud your colors too much. Now this one won't matter, because what I'm going to do next is I'm going to use the blue at the top. I'm just going to shake up. You will find that the blue is very, very dense in color, very dark looking. So you're going to add some more water to it, and I'm just going to run over here and grab a paper towel, and I'm going to, again, move that around a little bit with my blender to bring it down into my grass. But what I have found with the blue is if I then take a paper towel and kind of daub that water, I get a little bit lighter blue because I want to be stamping on that. So I've just run that across. Again, you need this to dry, so I am just going to set that aside because I have already got a piece that's dry. And I'm going to bring that in. Now I've cut this piece down. The watercolor paper is down to 3.5 by 4 1/4, and so you'll see once it dries, it gives it a totally different look. And what I'm going to bring in is the Waterfall, I believe that's what it's called, Waterfall Stamp Set, and I'm going to use the mountains with the black. And I'm going to stamp them. And then I'm going to stamp again without re-inking so that I get a shadowing. Can you see? So it looks like a darker or a lighter mountain in the background. I'm going to bring in a scrap piece of paper and go ahead and stamp that full strength. Isn't that pretty? Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the trees. I've got my Stampin' Write markers. I'm going to take the espresso and do the stems. Nice thing about the Stampin' Write markers is that you can ink right on the back of your stamp. Something that I found at my retreat, they were trying to use the alcohol markers to do this technique. You cannot do this technique with alcohol markers. It has to be water-based markers. So I've got that. Just going to kind of huff on it and stamp those trees right about here. Now I could put more trees in if I want, but I think that's good. I remember I told you that it's best to do several different pieces so then you can use them as accents. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in my 3/4 inch circle punch, and I have used the yellow and did a piece with the yellow. So I've punched that out. Going to grab a dimensional, put it on the back, put the sun up. I'm going to bring in a piece of basic black. See, I had a lot of running on that piece. This piece of black measures 3 3/4 by 4 1/2. And then I'm just going to bring in 1/2 a sheet of Whisper White, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 for my card base. See, I need maybe a little more adhesive down here in the corner. And there you have a beautiful scene that is great for a masculine card, a thinking of you, or even a sympathy card, all done with a new Brusho. Stay tuned as I'll have more fun things that you can do with that Brusho. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.